So that's something to keep in mind. We do have the severe thunderstorm of interest, Meigs, Ray, and Bledsoe counties. That continues for really another couple of hours, and then likely to be extended east into more of our area, coming off the plateau. So that's something else we're monitoring. Grabbing my phone here as well, because I keep a lot availability here on my phone. So as we continue to keep you updated, we are monitoring this line of storms that's advancing east onto the plateau, and that's what's bringing that potential for a tornado into Cumberland County. So I wanted to give you plenty of notice as that tornado warning is coming out of Sparta. We have these storms, again, Fentress County, severe thunderstorm warning, Cumberland County, severe thunderstorm warning, but Crossville, you will be lined up with that potential tornado. You can see the backside of really kind of the old warning, where it's still trying to spin around Sparta and move east. In the very least, not that I'm saying you should discredit it all, but in the very least, you have the potential for damaging wind. 70-mile-per-hour winds, hail as well. We've had a lot of hail in these storms this morning, part of our first alert, but then you also have that tornado warning in Sparta to Crossville as that continues to move across our area, or into our area really, as it's coming out of Middle Tennessee onto the plateau and moving east. So that's why you have a tornado warning. If you just got this notification in Crossville, southern Cumberland County, southwest corner here, you've got time, seek shelter. Right? Get the lowest level of your home away from windows. That may mean a closet. If you've got a basement, that's ideal. Key here is you want to be away from windows. We've had gusty winds, we've had hail this morning. That right there could even take out a window, but obviously when we start getting that spin, you're more likely to kind of twist up a tree and toss it, and that's what's more likely to crash through a window. So you want to make sure you're away from those windows, as we do have this tornado warning in Cumberland County and White County, so just to our west, White County into Cumberland County. I know some of you actually are able to get our signal even just outside of the plateau area. So if you are watching from White County, that is where it's bearing down on you in the Sparta area, continuing to monitor that as well. So as we continue with these warned storms, I wanted to point out that we do have scattered storms in parts of the foothills and mountains, northeast Tennessee, and then here's the line of storms continuing to barrel east with heavy rain, frequent lightning, and then that potential for damaging wind that's also rotating. So I'm going to track back here. Now you have some storms already in Cumberland County. This is actually the one that's rotating. So I want to stress that, because I know that can be a little confusing when you're already hearing lightning and we're talking about something on the way. And what you're hearing now in parts of Cumberland County is not the potential tornado. That storm is rotating out towards Sparta and White County and moving east into Cumberland County towards Crossville at 8:34 Central Time. Now Rockwood, if it holds together, and so you go from Central to Eastern Time right here. So Rockwood, if it holds together, you could have it in the very least a storm that had a history of rotation, at very least a stronger to severe storm in Rockwood about 9:55, 10:05 for Kingston, 10:15 for Oliver Springs. So that's where that line of storms continues to move east into our area. For those of you who kept up with the forecast, we were talking a lot about how this would be 9 to 10 on the plateau, 10 to 11 as it moves into the valley, 11 to noon as it moves east. So it's going to keep flying across our area. But what it's doing is it's bringing in more wind, more rain, more frequent lightning, and that potential for rotation, just like we're seeing right now out of Sparta. All these lightning strikes continuing to go off. So just keep in mind, I know it's noisy in Maryville, I know it's noisy in Dandridge to Morristown, but that's not the main line that's going to continue to push east. So that's where we're watching these storms continue to develop and move into our area. Right now we have heavy rain and frequent lightning coming across the plateau. Jamestown, I know it's hard to even see your town on this map, but we do have the severe thunderstorm for Fentress in Cumberland County, and then that possible rotation coming in here out of Sparta into West Cumberland County, and that's where we have a couple of storms out ahead of it. So this is what you're hearing around Highway 70, some very heavy rain, potential for some hail as well, and then that storm that's possibly rotating is coming in. I'm going to actually switch gears here so I can control my graphics a little bit differently, because what I wanted to be able to show you is some of the details of this storm, and so when I control it with my iPad, I have a little bit more control here. So I'm just going to be very, very transparent with you here as we work together on keeping an eye on these storms. So the key here is that we do have all of this active weather. When it comes down to it, the storms are definitely concerning. That's why we've had a first alert since last week for today. And so last week is when we first issued this first alert. And then when it comes down to it, we are monitoring these storms to continue to develop and move east across our area. So they're holding together. There's been plenty of heating. We're going to go ahead and just zoom on in here a little bit more. I'm going to switch gears here. So as we look at these storms, in terms of that live radar, we are seeing heavy rain and frequent lightning. And then, of course, the potential for that rotation is what's coming out of these storms as well. So when we see these severe thunderstorms spinning up just a little bit like we are in Sparta, that's what I'm analyzing right here on my iPad, that's where it's continuing to move east and potentially rotating down as well. It's radar indicated, so all in all what we're watching is that potential is there for that storm to be spinning. So what we have is a severe warned storm that is trying to spin based on radar. So we know that the rotation potential is there. It could be spinning down out of that storm and touching down. So we continue to analyze that for you here behind the scenes as well. I'm going to switch gears here because my computer is not, there it goes. All right, not sure why that wouldn't work for me from the key wall. Let me make sure everything is working correctly back here. I apologize. What we continue to watch, though, is that rotation. So on the live radar, it's a little easier to see that we do have those storms continuing to move east right now. So currently we have these string of storms on the plateau moving east. We've got that rotation coming out of Sparta into Cumberland County, and that's going to keep moving east, northeast at about 55 miles per hour. So even tracking the north edge of that storm, the severe thunderstorm through Mayland, you've got it closer to your area about 824, excuse me, central versus eastern, 824 Mayland, isolating about 9:33, 10 o'clock for Wartburg for that severe warned storm. Frozen Head State Park about 10 after 10 and 10:15 Oliver Springs. We'll track some of these severe storms as well. Moving east at a good 45 to 50 miles per hour. The one rotating here is just trying to move a little bit faster. That's part of the nature of it, trying to get ahead of itself almost. So that's where we have severe storms coming out of Fentress County into more of Scott and Campbell County. You would be down the line here in this situation. Robbins about 9:33, Norma about 9:45, Caryville 10 o'clock, La Follette 10:06, and McLeod Mountain about 10:12. So multiple strong storms, Wayne to McCreary, severe storms all over Fentress County could be causing some damage. Heavy rain, frequent lightning, absolutely. But what makes it severe are the wind speeds, 60 mile per hour winds, and that potential for 1-inch hail. So continuing to see that develop as well. I'll switch gears here as well so I can keep my chat open with the National Weather Service. It's one more way we can kind of see some updates as well. If you run into any damage, for example, obviously I would not be recommending being out and about, but say you lose power, you have a tree topple. Those are the kind of things that we can relay to the National Weather Service. They also relay to us. So it's very handy as well that we can kind of keep that line of communication open. With this line of storms continuing to move east, the one that's rotating is right here out of Sparta and showing that rotation right there on the radar. Radar indicated, meaning we can see the rotation up above. That's what the radar is actually scanning, and it could be dropping down a funnel cloud. It could be potentially touching the ground and officially a tornado, but that's why it is a tornado warning coming into Cumberland County right around Browntown, about 8:30, 8:39 for Crossville, 8:49 Fairfield Glade, 10 o'clock for Rockwood. Again, if it holds together, right now you're not in the tornado warning. I'm trying to give you a heads up at the pace it is moving. It would then hit the eastern half of Cumberland County and then Roane County, but a line of severe storms continues to barrel east. We should just even track some of these severe storms that aren't in our area yet, but will be at the pace that they're moving. The southern tail here is going to continue to flare up, and that's going to bring some more severe storms into Pikeville, about 8:40. Got it closer to Cumberland Springs, about 9:50, 10 o'clock for Spring City, which is the southern tail of Watts Bar Lake there, 10:15 Watts Bar, Roane County line. So all that's going to continue to advance east into more of the plateau, more of the heavy rain, more of the frequent lightning, and that hail potential. Close look there at that severe thunderstorm warning for Fentress County, Overton, Putnam County. So I want to go ahead and highlight some of the areas that some of you can get our signal a little bit further west through here where it becomes nice and flat. That tornado warning, 8:45 Central. Okay, so Central time right here on the plateau. Mooneyham, Crossville is really right at that edge of that potential tornado. So that's what we're monitoring right there. That's what we're continuing to watch with that possible storm. I want to check out some of the kind of the internal workings of this storm. So let's actually check out, see how it's looking inside that storm. That's where we can analyze it a little bit better for you. See, that's where we're looking at that rotation. So right there, that's where it's trying to spin up. This is actually looking at the radar moving toward versus away from the radar. So that's where we can check on that potential spin. Checking out, yeah, so there you go. You can see it a little bit better right there, where it's trying to spin up just east of Sparta and move into West Cumberland County. All in all, that's what we're monitoring, is that difference there, and that's where it's starting to scoop up more of that hail as well. That's very common with the tornado because it's got a lot of updraft, a lot of lift up into that storm. So that's where, all in all, we are seeing, in the very least, we've got the heavy rain, frequent lightning, damaging wind potential. I'm not picking up as much hail there, but just something else that I'll keep an eye on for you. But we are seeing that rotation again coming out of Sparta. I just showed you kind of the internal workings of that storm as it tries to spin and moving east. I'm going to zoom in a bit more because that's the actual warned storm. Actually, we have a brand new tornado warning. What they've done is they've expanded that box. So we were cut off right here at Crossville. Now we're going to move east, so we can just kind of take a close look at that new warning as it continues to move across our area. And that's what it looks like right there with that warning continuing into more of Crossville, to more of Cumberland County. All in all, very important to keep in mind that we do have multiple severe storms, and then this is the storm that I was just showing you, that internal rotation there, where it's trying to drop down. That means coming into West Cumberland County right now, you need to make sure you seek shelter. That means you need to make sure that you get away from windows, lowest level of your home. I'm just gonna, so you guys can see better what I'm doing here. I'm trying to get into my other way of operating some graphics for you here, just so I can stay right here chatting with you, keeping you updated. We are continuing to see those storms move east at 55 miles per hour in this particular case. So that's the storm that's rotating, and that tornado warning has just been expanded, continuing to move through our area. We do have these severe storms north, this severe storm that's showing that rotation sign on the radar right there at the edge of Cumberland County. And that's what now fills in all of Cumberland County and moving east at 55 miles per hour. So I'm going to track this storm for you one more time. I got to move that out of the way just because that's a really fast pace. Most of the storms are moving about 45 miles per hour. Right now, for example, east out towards Kingston, you're not in a tornado warning, but I'm tracking this for you here because you could easily be impacted by the tornado. If that rotation continues by that warned storm, then that storm could continue into your neck of the woods. That puts it in Crossville about 8:43 Central Time. Again, seek shelter immediately. You got several minutes, you got plenty of time to get to a safe place away from windows, lowest level of your home. Fairfield, grade 8:53. 10:05 Rockwood. Again, we've gone from Central to Eastern Time into Roane County. Rockwood 10:05, Kingston 10:15. If you have loved ones who you know work out on Watts Bar, for example, maybe they don't normally get notifications from that WVLT weather app, make sure they download that, make sure they're aware, because being out on the water, I know we normally camp through here, cell phone signal can be a little hit or miss. You might want to give folks a heads up because we do have that storm barreling across Cumberland County over the next hour. So Cumberland County, you're front and center for this tornado warning for 30 more minutes. All right, a tornado warning until 9 Central for Cumberland County and White County. So that's coming out of the Sparta area, cutting across Cumberland County as it barrels in a little bit more. You can see close up here. This is going to be the intense part. That's where it's trying to spin, move across Cumberland County with that possible rotation. Radar indicated. We can see it spinning up above, but it's got to start there before it can spin down, before it can possibly develop a funnel cloud, before it can possibly touch down as a tornado. And that's what will continue to move east across Cumberland County. We do have multiple storms in our area out ahead of it. Again, these are what developed earlier this morning, as we have storms in Maryville. We have storms north and east. We have hundreds of lightning strikes coming out of this line as well. So heavy rain, frequent lightning. But what makes that severe? These storms here, strong storms Wayne County, severe storms Fentress edging into Scott County, edging into Morgan, Sevier County, North Cumberland, severe thunderstorm, possible rotation, tornado warning, Cumberland County. That's where we're seeing that extra layer of gusty winds potentially causing damage. as well as that hail potential. So all in all, we have multiple storms that are now lined up right here on the plateau. So I'm just looping it so you can better see that change from the storms we had this morning to the scattered storms to the active warnings right now, Fentress County and Cumberland County, and then the tornado warning in Cumberland County as well, cutting across Crossville area. Over the next hour, I'm going to do another track on this here for you just to give you an idea. Moving east at 55 miles per hour. So that's going to put it in Crossville, 842. So just a slight difference there just because I'm tracking this little north side of that spin. But keep in mind, this is going to continue to move east. Let's zoom in here a bit because I think that'll be helpful too. We can take a close look at that storm since it's really kind of knocking at the back door of Cumberland County. Let's just zoom all the way in here. I want to see exactly who's dealing with this. As we look into that west edge of town, you look at Thomas Springs, all right, that tornado is kind of rotating just north of you. Let's see here. Let's shift our focus just a little bit. And that's where we can look a little bit further north here. Clifty. So you're seeing that edge, that tornado's trying to spin towards you. West Mill. I wanted to zoom in on these communities. I know you got the notification from the WVLT weather app about this tornado warning, but I wanted to give you kind of a close-up view as to exactly where we are seeing those communities, those neighborhoods, those schools. Right? Kids are in school now. Pleasant Hill, you're right there at that north edge. So that red line you can see here, that's the north edge. So southern side of Pleasant Hill, Ravenscroft, that's continuing to move east. Now let's move a little bit further east here and focus on the towns out ahead of that tornado warning, where it's headed next. Howard Springs, for example, that's in the tornado warning. Lantana, you're in the tornado warning. It's west of you, it's moving east, and that is going to continue. Looking a little further south here, Hale Mill is on the southern edge of this warned storm, as well as it moving east. Let's drift just a little further east again, trying to give everybody a heads up. Big Lick, that's Highway 127 right here, zooming into Line Area, as well as Grassy Cove. So every single neighborhood here, I can give you a heads up. I know you're already hearing heavy rain and lightning out over 127 towards Crab Orchard, but that's not the tornado warning. That's just to your west. Cumberland Homestead, that's going to continue to move east. Crab Orchard as well, it's headed your way as we do have this storm continuing across Highway 70. There's I-40 right there. So that's where we're getting close to the drop-off from the plateau to the valley. Millstone right there. Daysville as well, Highway 70 dropping down into Westall, and then there's that Roane County line. So right now we're at the far side of the warning, as again that's going to continue to move east. There's the line continuing to move east, and then big picture where we were just kind of really hyper focused on those towns where you have heavy rain, frequent lightning ahead of that tornado. So I'm trying to stress that so you don't think, oh, you're at the far side of it, oh, this is it, this is the tornado. No, it's actually the other side. So this is the storm that's rotating and moving east at 55 miles per hour. So that's where it's headed towards Kingston. In an hour, if that holds together, you're going to have in the very least, I'll say that in very least severe thunderstorm warning. Right now it is a tornado warning for Cumberland County. That rotation was very evident on the radar, like we were just looking at close up. So I'm going to continue to log in here and keep my eyes on the radar as well. So we're continuing to monitor this storm as it moves east. Right now you have that tornado warning until 9 a.m. for Cumberland, White County. We also have the severe thunderstorm warning as it continues into Fentress County. So big picture, multiple storms out ahead of it. And we're seeing that out in Monroe County, Blount County, big picture. Hundreds of lightning strikes in our area. This lineup right here. Now this tail down here is continuing to produce some stronger to severe storms, and that's going to keep moving east as well. So that's where all in all in our area, we have a lot moving in and moving through. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on that for you. I know that Casey Willis is in here as well. The newsroom is keeping an eye on everything going on in terms of reports, any damage reports. Since this tornado is continuing into Cumberland County right now, we won't have any reports in our area yet, but what we're monitoring are those reports coming out of Middle Tennessee. So I stress that because that means it's headed our way. I'm actually pulling up my chat with the National Weather Service in a little bit different way just so I can keep an eye on that and not have to leave you here at the key wall. But all in all, the key here is that we will continue to see these storms move east. At 55 miles per hour is the warned storm coming into Cumberland County, 45 miles per hour for these severe storms, Jamestown to Monticello, and then down here more storms coming east into our area. So that's where that leading edge, that main line of storms continues to move in. So we're going to continue to watch that to develop. Unfortunately, more warnings likely to be issued. Tornado warning again until 9 a.m. for those of you just joining us. This is 9 Central Time for Cumberland and White counties. So we're going to continue to watch that move east. Right now, this is the rotating storm. Right, so there's multiple downpours and storms out ahead of it. This is the rotation. So that's what's moving east at 55 miles per hour. We're going to take a close look here at that storm again here in just a second. Lantana, 8:39, 6 minutes out from you, Central Time. Right, Rockwood, closer to 10:04. If it continues to hold in that rotation, then the National Weather Service will likely just continue the tornado warning. Right now we have a line of severe storms, and then this particular storm is the one that's been showing that rotation. So right there is that point of concern. Let's analyze it again and see if it's how it's holding together, basically, because that's kind of the key here. Is it changing at all? Is it still showing that clear rotation? Because even on radar, it looks pretty evident. So that's where we're seeing, look at that. See that little green dot right there? So that's toward versus away the radar. So that's where we're seeing those winds kind of spin. And that's what's happening right now coming into West Cumberland County. So we're seeing that spin, we're seeing that lift with the debris, with that potential for hail as well. So I'm just analyzing this in every way I can just to see exactly where that is. So that storm is spinning up right here. So the actual drop down potential from that tornado would be right here into that spin up. So that's what we're looking at. That's the kind of the key, the focus of that storm. Actually, I want to zoom back in here. Let's take a close look at where that tornado could possibly be if it's reaching the ground. Again, a tornado warning in our area means usually that it's radar indicated because, you know, we have all these hills and ups and downs. You can't see for miles like they can out west. So right now we are seeing that possible spin up happening right here between Clifty and Thomas Springs. So that's where a tornado could be touching down right now in West Cumberland County and moving east. All right, so I was talking a moment ago, giving you a heads up before it was in Clifty and Thomas Springs, but make sure you are at lowest level of your home, away from windows. Extremely important when we're talking about really severe thunderstorms, but especially tornadoes, just because it has the chance to kind of pick up some larger debris and carry it and move it. So that's where you can see now a severe thunderstorm warning was just issued. Well, I'm going to zoom back out here, kind of refresh some of these alerts. So we do have heavy rain and frequent lightning continuing to move east, multiple severe thunderstorms coming onto the plateau, strong storms out ahead of it. I just don't want that to kind of trick you into thinking, oh, that's it, here it is. No, this is the line we've been tracking for you. This is the storms that have been showing that indication of potentially rotating with that Cumberland County storm. So that's where I'm looking right now to see where we stand on these alerts. Again, we've got that tornado warning that is expiring early, it looks like. Looking at my chat with the National Weather Service. So dropping down now, dropping down, still very serious. Severe thunderstorm warning for Cumberland County, Fentress County, and then that's Overton and Putnam as well, as that's coming on two more of Fentress County and Cumberland County right now. So we are seeing multiple strong storms becoming severe as they move into our area. We have strong storms out ahead of it. You have severe thunderstorm warnings right now in Cumberland and Fentress County. I'm going to go back to my home view here because I think that'll kind of give you perspective for some of you going, well, what about my town? You have downpours and storms in Blount and Sevier County still. Flash flood alerts from this morning's downpours that developed. You have some downpours northeast Tennessee. That's not the main line. This is the main line moving east into our area. So now, just an update for our current severe storms. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in Fentress and Cumberland counties. Multiple strong storms still, Monticello to Stearns to Oneida. So let's track some of these leading edge here, and we'll continue to keep you updated. Casey, have you guys had any reports? Yeah, okay, so Casey has something for you here.
Yeah, we've got a couple videos to show you. And Heather, just like you mentioned, most of this is from the Nashville area in Middle Tennessee, but if our producer back there can maybe pull up some of this, lots of downed trees. And we talked about this earlier, how the ground is saturated, so a lot of these trees might fall down, and it's dangerous when you're out on the roads. And most of these are happening from our CBS affiliate, WTVF in Nashville. They were sharing some pretty alarming video of some of the okay, so they're still working to get that video, but some of the wet roads as you go through, the tree lines are just down. Also, those power lines are down as well. We're checking KUB for any power outages this morning. At one point here in our area, it was up to 20,000. At last check, that was down to about 5,000. I'm going to check here as well. And then also we have that WVLT Weather Vols Facebook group that was also sharing some photos in the Crossville area saying that they were hearing those sirens. So as Heather mentioned, those warnings that were happening, those sirens were also going off as well. So some good news for those of us living in Knoxville. Now there's only about 175 people without power, which is good news, because at one point it was about 20,000 this morning as we saw some of those storms roll through. So really crews working really hard to get that back up and running this morning as we wait for this next line of storms to roll through. I'm hoping that maybe if the producer in the back could possibly pull up a computer shot. I just forwarded him some of these videos, but the trees and the power lines that are down are what's scary, because when the power lines drop, that's when, especially on the roads, it can get really scary if it's still wet out there. So that's kind of what they're dealing with in Middle Tennessee as far as damage that we've seen so far that we're getting from our affiliates there. A lot of people in the Goodlettsville area as well reporting a lot of damage, a lot of downed trees. First responders on scene there as well. So we're going to keep an eye on all the power outages that are happening within the area, especially on the plateau there, as Heather was showing us where that line of storms is moving through. Any update on getting any of that video for us back there, guys? Okay, is it possible to pull up the computer shot? Okay, so the producer is working on that for us, so we are continuing to work on that. And Heather, what's the latest on those warnings that are happening?
Yeah, we've got a couple new ones. So let's just come back to the queue wall here. Again, this is always going to be kind of an evolving conversation, I think is a good way to look at it. Sorry, I'm literally queuing up my chat with the National Weather Service. Here's a couple updates too that coincide with what Casey was talking about. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, for those of you just joining us, the tornado warning in Cumberland County has been canceled. We do have some new reports of downed trees and roof damage in Smithville. So that was just outside of our area, moving east as we continue to monitor those storms. So we've got multiple severe thunderstorms in our area. Newest addition to this list too is that we have a severe thunderstorm watch that now also includes Anderson, Blunt, Jefferson, Knox, Loudoun, McMinn, Monroe. So a lot we're continuing to monitor for you here. I'm literally getting messages from our radio partners at the news talk as well. We're going to get to Kyle Granger on that one here as I'm on air. We do have multiple severe storms right here clustered up. So strong storms, Monticello to Stearns, strong storm Oneida, multiple severe storms. So let's zoom in here real quick. So let's focus on the severe storms because this is where you're more likely to have damage. Again, previously rotating. Really what that should tell you too is that it's an intense storm, right? It was even spinning at the top when it was in Sparta. Now it's continuing to cut through Cumberland County and move east with a severe thunderstorm warning for Bledsoe, Morgan, Ray, and Roane counties. So to track this leading edge, now these are a couple of strong storms that are moving east. So I want to focus on the storm itself. That is the problem, right? So that's the leading edge of the storm. I know that can be a little tricky sometimes too when folks go, oh, it's already thundering here, that must be it. And it's not, unfortunately. So that is where we have these storms continuing to move east. Kingston, 1006. Coalfield, about 1012, Oak Ridge, 1022, and Clinton, about 1034. I hear Kyle Granger is standing by. I'm not sure exactly where he is, so if you guys could let me know, that would be great. But we do have a new severe thunderstorm watch in our area because these storms are going to continue to move east off the plateau with multiple strong storms out ahead of it. Okay, he's in our severe county bureau apparently. So we do have this line of storms moving east out. Ahead of it is where we've had some strong storms. So Kyle's over here in the bureau, not where it's severe. So we're going to focus here on what's happening where the intensity of those storms is, and that's lined up right here with that leading edge, moving from Crossville to Jamestown and continuing to barrel east with that heavy rain, frequent lightning, and then what makes these storms severe is that really that 1-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour gusts. Again, I'm trying to keep an eye on all of these different alerts, especially the watches that were just added. Again, the difference here is we're tracking your warnings, your active severe weather, and that watch means it is possible as it keeps moving east. So even tracking the strong storm out ahead of the severe storm, to give you a better idea, that's going to be cutting through Henderson County and Knoxville area within the hour. Oak Ridge, 957, Hardin Valley, 1003, downtown Knoxville, 1020, Gibbs, 1030, and Strawberry Plains, 1040. I think we're going to check in now with meteorologist Kyle Granger.
And good morning to you, Heather, and everyone at home. It's been kind of a rough morning here in Sevier County as well, where we've had those strong storms that have moved through. We've had some localized flash flooding issues that have been happening all across the county, and no doubt when we get this line of showers and storms that continues to push on off to the east, it's only going to aggravate some of those creeks, streams, and runoff issues that we have been seeing through the course of the morning hours. We do continue to have the severe thunderstorm warnings, where we're seeing the possibility of strong winds, also some hail associated with this as well. And as Heather has been reporting over the past couple of hours, it was potentially rotating at one point with one of these storms that was moving through Cumberland County. So all this continues to move on off to the east and brings active weather right on in through the next couple of hours. So here's a look at what's going on. Here's the outline of that severe thunderstorm warning right now, and you can also see for parts of Sevier County, Blount County, we have those flash flood warnings in effect as well. So this is going to be for Bledsoe, Morgan, Ray, Roane counties. And again, moving off to the east at a rather quick pace here. So it's going to be moving into Knox County, Blount County, Loudoun County here over the next little while as all of this continues to track on off to the east here. This lasts until 10:15 in the morning. So we still have another 30 minutes or so of this active weather that will be moving through the course of the area. So here's a broader perspective. You can see here the showers and storms that moved through earlier this morning kind of woke me up at my house in Sevierville with a big loud pop of thunder and lightning. But here's that strong line that continues to move east here, stretching from Crossville right on through Jamestown into parts of Scott County this morning. And as this moves east, we'll see the rainfall heavy at times and also some thunder and lightning associated with it. And we can't rule out the possibility that any one of these storms does produce an isolated tornado as well. And we're not done from there as we look for more storms that develop through the course of the day today. So this morning, kind of a rough morning for a lot of people. We'll back it up here and take you back to that live radar one more time so you can see exactly where these storms are right now at this particular time as this severe thunderstorm warning does continue for parts of Bledsoe, Morgan, Ray, and Roane counties right now. You can see the pockets of the heavier stuff that's associated here from Wartburg extending back into Oakdale, over the Crossville, and then Sparta kind of clearing for you right now at this point and continues to move east. Kingston going to be tracking into your neighborhood here in the next little while. So again, all of us to the east still have to wait for this next round of storms to come through, and it's going to be multiple waves of storms that come through, producing those heavy winds, strong winds, the possibility of thunder, lightning, and hail and isolated tornadoes as well. So a broader perspective of live pinpoint Doppler right now shows you back here in Sevier County, we've got heavy rain pushing through Pigeon Forge right now, where we do have that flash flood warning that is continuing. You can see that outline there extending from Gatlinburg over to Pigeon Forge into Sevierville, back over, say, Seymour, parts of Wallen this morning. And heavy rain continues right now at this point for folks there. So remember, turn around, don't drown. Water across the roadway is not something that you want to be driving through. It takes just a matter of just a few inches and it can wash that car right on off the roadway. So back over into parts of Cumberland County, in the Roane County, Loudoun County, that's where we have that severe thunderstorm warning that is continuing right now until 10:15 as this moves on off to the east, producing those strong storms. But still, nothing to play with here when you get in parts of Scott County up to Williamsburg. That's still some active weather, strong storms pushing through your neighborhood as well. So all of this moves on off to the east here in the next little while. Let me just step off the screen here and do some things with the radar. Let's take you in and show you exactly what's going on in several of these locations here. We'll zoom in a little bit closer and show you what's going on. Here's the warning. Again, approaching Kingston at this time. Make sure you're doing your necessary precautions so that you are able to see what's going on in your neighborhood. Let's turn on some of the lightning strikes. You can see here multiple lightning strikes continuing in Crossville, Cumberland County over to Wartburg and approaching Kingston right now at this time. We'll check out what's going on with other situations. Here's back to the live radar here. You can see these pockets of heavy rain that's in this particular area, in this particular storm at this time, extending from Wartburg. There's pockets in there where we have some heavier stuff. No doubt the possibility of some hail in these situations as well. Extending back down Highway 127 in Cumberland County, and again moving off to the east into Kingston here in the next little while. Knoxville right now in the clear, but all of this has to move through your neck of the woods. So if you're in Knox County right now at this time, that's something that you'll have to pay very close attention to as well. So we continue with this severe thunderstorm warning. It looks like we may have a new severe thunderstorm warning we need to take you to right now. And let's see where that storm is. This is going to be in southeastern, let's see here, Bledsoe and Ray County. Thought it was Pikeville for a minute, but this is Bledsoe and Ray County until 10:15. This warning looks like an extension of the warning that was already in place there. So we do have this that is continuing, and we'll take you out and show you what's going on with a broader perspective here of the radar situation, so everyone has an understanding of what's going on right now. You can see here we do have this major line that is pushing east. So right now, while Knoxville may be in the clear and may be drying, all of this is going to be tracking on off to the east here over the next little while. I'll put the tracker on for you so that you can see what's going on here. We're not going that fast. So these particular areas, Knoxville back at 10:31. You'll be seeing this approach your area, Maryville at 10:39. We are going to send it back to WVLT News headquarters in Knoxville, where Casey Wheelis is standing by right now with some new information. Casey?
Yeah, Kyle, we are waiting, and as Heather mentioned, we're not seeing a whole lot of damage in our area yet. That's because the storms are here, they're moving through, but we want to show you what these storms are leaving behind. This is in just outside of the Nashville area. You can see some of those stronger winds, even some down trees there. Some houses are damaged as well, and a lot of people without power in the Middle Tennessee area as those storms that are now moving through our area moved through just a little bit ago. So this is exactly kind of what they're seeing. A lot of EMS workers there. So far, no reports of any injuries, which is good news. We never want to hear about any of those, so we will keep you posted as soon as we hear about any type of damage in our area. And also, if you are headed out on the roads, please give yourself some extra time, because we're getting lots of reports of ponding. If you know a road that usually floods when there's a lot of rain, it probably is right now. So you just want to be careful. And Heather's also here tracking the very latest for us in the Weather Center.
Yeah, good morning. As we continue to monitor this, the key here, as I mentioned earlier, that severe thunderstorm watch was expanded. So basically this line continues to move east, but notice how it starts stepping down in terms of coverage. Basically what's very common when we have a line of storms is that the southern tail becomes the most intense. So what we're watching is actually the intensity to flare up and then spread east. So that's why the southern half of East Tennessee is more so the focus moving ahead. That line of storms moves east. Strong storms to severe storms possible. That's what a watch means. We have multiple severe storms now. We have watches now, including all of Knox, Jefferson, Sevier, Blunt, Monroe, McMinn, Meigs, Ray, Bledsoe, Roane, Loudoun, Anderson, Morgan, Fentress, and Cumberland. So I just wanted to name off the counties in case you're not sure where you are in reference to this map. Now, the most recent addition to all of this is the severe thunderstorm warning that we were just looking at as well. So I'm going to stick with the radar. Meteorologist Kyle Granger will be behind the scenes, continue to keep an eye on updates. If you have photos, share them from the WVLT weather app if you can get them safely. Please don't stand out on a porch in the middle of a storm. Not worth it for the Instagram clicks and likes. Please be careful. All right, we have multiple severe storms. That means we have debris blowing around. We have trees toppling in West Tennessee, and now those storms are here. The most recent addition to these severe thunderstorm warnings is this one right here in Bledsoe and Ray that Kyle was showing you just a second ago. It's right over 127, Pikeville area, Dayton. That brings you into the southern tail of Watts Bar Lake, which I was telling you earlier. If you've got loved ones who are out on the water, give them a heads up. I know I've been camping out on Watts Bar. Signal can be a little hit or miss, so they may get alerts and they may not come through at the moment. You always want to have that backup plan for safety's sake when we have a risk for severe weather just like we have today. This is the same line we've been talking about really since last week, continuing to move east. So we have severe thunderstorms, Cumberland County, Roane County, Bledsoe, County, right? This is the southern tail of it here, and up into Morgan County. The strong storm, so I'm going to stick with this wide view just so I can show you, because I don't want to kind of keep you out of the loop almost in southeastern Kentucky. You have strong storms cutting across your neck of the woods. Middlesboro 10:15, Pathfork about 10:35. You have these strong storms cutting across Campbell County right now. Now you still have the potential for some gustier winds. Your winds are closer to 40 miles per hour and your hail is smaller. Can still cause some damage. La Follette area 10:06, Maynardville about 10:30, Big Bear about 10:36, and Tazewell 10:45. These severe storms, again, centered up Morgan County, into more of Roane, into more of Cumberland, into more of Decatur area. This is that southern tail I was just mentioning. Look at it continue to flare up down here. That's going to move east. So just to track the leading edge of these storms that are going to be coming into the Knoxville area. I was not joking this morning when I said you may want to pack your lunch so you don't have to get back out in this mess. All right, 10:05, Oak Ridge, Hardin Valley, 10:10, downtown Knoxville, 10:30, and Seymour, 10:39. That's the leading edge of strong storms. Now look what happens when I track the back edge here, where they actually intensify a bit more. All right, so that means we're going to take these severe storms that are in West Cumberland County, and we're just now making it into Roane County. So that's where those alerts are flaring up now for these storms, and there's some that are out ahead of it. So that can be a little deceptive. You've got strong storms and then severe storms and then heavy rain behind it. So it's just going to become kind of on and off, but on repeat leads to that heavy rain and that flash flooding potential like Casey was just explaining, that ponding on the roads. Crossville 9 o'clock for that particular downpour, that storm there at the back edge. Fairfield Glade about 9:15. Rockwood 10:30 and Central versus Eastern time. Kingston 10:45, Coalfield about 10:50 as these continue to move east. So right now we have strong storms, Wartburg, Oneida, Williamsburg, severe storms, Cumberland, Roane County as well. So that's where we're monitoring that developing storm cell kind of coming into our area. Bledsoe, Morgan, Ray, Roane. Continuing to move east with those storms out ahead of it. There's the cluster of some of the strong storms that have even developed and led to some flash flooding issues through parts of Sevier County, and that's where meteorologist Kyle Granger is. But all in all, this is the main issue. This is what's spawning severe thunderstorms and that potential for tornadoes. Luckily, the tornado warned storm that was in Sparta, just west of Cumberland County, White County there, and moved into West Cumberland County. That was then downgraded to a severe thunderstorm. So that just means the rotation part of it isn't part of the story anymore, but it is still showing those signs of that hail and the potential for damaging wind. I've actually got a little workstation right here off camera. I guess I can move it in a little bit so you don't think I'm just kind of poking around off cam. This just helps me keep an eye on things as well, so I can kind of multitask with what you can see on camera and anything else with the National Weather Service, any updates as well. That's where we're getting a lot of our damage reports too. So if you come across some trees down, let us know. We relay to the National Weather Service. That's where that conversation is kind of cyclical here. So luckily, we do not have any tornado warnings at the moment. We have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings with this line moving east. So that's where we're at, almost 760 lightning strikes again in our area. We were at 800 or 900 earlier this morning when we had some strong storms. So now here we are lining up this system and moving it east, removing the lightning so you can better see now where we have all these storms. Let's track the southern tail here since we were tracking kind of that northern half. As these continue to move east at 45 miles per hour, that does put it on Wattsburg, and now we're at the southern side, closer to Spring City between 10:10 and 10:20. Sweetwater about 10:40, Madisonville 10:45, and Lenore City 10:53. Loudoun County, Monroe County, you are not in a warning, you're in a watch. So watch out. These storms are headed your way, and they could be severe warned by the time they get there. So that's kind of the difference where we have watches out ahead of these warnings. So conditions are right. Even some heating happened in between morning downpours and storms to still have that fuel available for these storms as they move east across our area. We've had a lot of rain, so this is where you may say at your house, I didn't have hardly any. It doesn't mean that down the road or across town or where you're supposed to commute to didn't have an excessive amount of rain already. So look at some of these streaks. See this purple line, for example, between Blunt and Sevier? That's why there's flash flood warnings. Right, so that's where it jumped up into 1.5 to 2 inches in spots, like Sevierville coming in at already almost 2 inches of rain. Meanwhile, downtown Knoxville at a couple hundredths. So I want to stress that because where these downpours are coming in, these excessive streaks of rain are moving through, and that's where you could have an area where all of a sudden there's high water. Remember, never drive through high water. You don't know if that road's still there. right? It could have crumbled literally under the water. Something people underestimate a lot is the force of moving water. 1 inch of moving water can take your feet out from underneath you. It has a lot of power to it. 6 inches can move a car. Right? So it's not even just the depth of the water that's dangerous, but also the force of moving water. So just something to keep in mind if you come across some high water today with this band of storms, and really on through tomorrow we could have some high water. That's where we're monitoring that as those storms move through. Actually, I was going to take a look at our downtown webcam. Looks like it just went down in some storms. So obviously that's something else we'll keep an eye on, as those can be knocking things around, and we have that watch again until 1 p.m. So that's going to continue to move east across our area. So I'm checking in here. Do we have any new updates, Casey, in news?
We actually have some photos we want to show you, just to show you how dangerous lightning can be. Heather, you've been talking about how many lightning strikes we've gotten in the area. If we can take a look at the first one, you can see that a viewer sent us this into our newsroom. Look at that. You can see the mountain in the background and that lightning just lighting up the sky this morning. This is when some of those storms rolled through earlier this morning, but really you get a better picture for it when it is dark outside. Also, this is a house fire that firefighters believe started from a lightning strike early this morning. This is in the East Tennessee area, and Rarity Bay is where this happened, in Rarity Bay. So you can see crews have been on scene for a couple of hours there trying to put out these flames that they believe started from a lightning strike. So that just shows you how dangerous this lightning can be when it does come through. As Heather has mentioned, if you hear thunder, go inside, because you don't want to chance something like this. Wow, some of these photos are pretty powerful. They're coming from Rarity Bay. And another photo there you can see of lightning. We've got more video to show you of the lightning. And this is in Cumberland County as the sun came up this morning. That lightning, a lot of you got an early wake-up call this morning with the thunder and lightning coming through. So hopefully everyone who is taking these photos and videos were in a safe location to do so under cover. But yeah, so if we can we show those again in order? This one is in Cumberland County. We have another one, I believe, is in the southern part of our DMA, because you can see the mountains there in the background, just when it was so dark out this morning. So that lightning can be so powerful, and it is so dangerous when there's so much of it. And also, Heather mentioned, when you're driving, be careful. Some of those roads could be completely washed away, and you don't know if you can't see. If a road near you, a back road near you, is usually flooded, it probably is at this time. So you want to just try to avoid those roads if you can. And we're working to get more information on if anyone was hurt in that fire that was caused by lightning. So as soon as we know more about what exactly happened here, we will keep you updated. But you can see the fire crews that came out. There were several of them, volunteer fire departments as well as some other departments in that area, using the ladders to try to get on top of the flames as it continued to burn throughout the day, or throughout the morning, rather, this morning. So right now also we want to keep you up to date on some of the power outages in our area. Middle Tennessee is seeing several thousand people without power, but as far as us here in Knoxville, the good news is right now only about 175 people are without power. This morning at one point there were 20,000 people. 20,000 households in the dark. So crews have really been working hard this morning to make sure that they try to get that power back up, keep everyone with the lights still on. And if you all ever lose power throughout these storms, you can always stream us on the WVLT News app. And it's also a good idea to download the WVLT weather app, because that's going to send you notifications exactly where you are on what's happening. Of course, we've got Heather here who's keeping a close eye on all the warnings and watches that have been happening. But that weather app, in case you're not near TV, in case you lose power, as long as your phone still has battery, you're still going to get those important updates. And in some cases, when you need to seek shelter, when you need to go inside, and a lot of that stuff that you need to know about, Heather.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that's why it's handy. I wasn't joking when I was saying we go camping in Roane County a lot, and I know signal can be hit or miss. So my app always worked when we were camping. But, you know, I know that there are some spots where there are some trouble spots. So be careful. Make sure you have that backup plan, especially on a day like today, where we had the first alert for a week. We have downpours, we have storms, we have building downpours, we have increasing intensity with severe weather. So right now we have this cluster of storms in Blount to Sevier County. We have some downpours developing in between, and we have the leading edge of strong to severe storms moving east. So that's going to continue towards Knoxville. That's where you have your severe thunderstorm watch until 1 p.m. So all in all, we're continuing to monitor the heavy rain, the frequent lightning, just monitoring different layers here. Let's check in on the live radar without the lightning. A little easier to see, right? There's so much lightning, which is impactful, but that's not what makes it severe. I will tell you, a lot of times I'll get messages from folks that say, there's so much lightning, why didn't I get a warning? Actually, what makes a storm severe is it either has to have hail of at least 1 inch, or gusts of at least 58 miles per hour, or it could be rotating. And so literally any of those three, and we've had all three so far. Right, so this storm right here, that is severe warning storm in Roane County, was rotating as it came from Sparta into West Cumberland County. Now it's still the potential for damaging wind and hail out of this leading edge continuing to move east. So we have these storms in our area right now. Just looking at it a little bit different. I'm able to analyze the radar a little differently when I compare this leading edge radar versus kind of filling in from the Nashville radar as well. So these storms continue to flare up. This is where we have the severe warned storm. I want to give you a heads up because we just heard a good rain right overhead in West Knoxville. Again, don't let that trick you into thinking, oh, that's it, this is it, it's gone. Right, we have this cluster of storms, a couple of downpours in the valley, then we have the actual alerts. Right, then we have the actual storms, which brand new warning just joined the mix. Let's check in on our latest severe thunderstorm warning. If you have that WVLT weather app, you're getting this message right now. Continuing to move east with these storms. New warning just issued, including more of Roane County as well. We're seeing that continue to advance east across our area. So all in all, the trick here with these storms is that we do have multiple strong to severe storms, and then we have really some downpours that are ramping up into that severe status. So that's what I'm continuing to monitor for you here. We did just lose my computer. If we can actually switch over to Max 1, that would be great. I've actually got it ready to go as well. They'll know what that means in the back. So this is where we are seeing that storm continuing to advance east across our area. As we continue to monitor that, we continue to see those storms develop. And right now, we have multiple strong to severe storms coming off the plateau, moving east into the valley, and that's where we have that potential for damaging wind and hail as well. So really, all in all, in our area, that is where we are seeing. And okay, apparently that one graphic crashed both of my computers. Apparently we're going to some new video. We do have an active severe thunderstorm warning we'll get back to in just a second.
Okay, Heather, thank you. Yeah, if we want to take a look at some of this video, this is in Dandridge. We're getting some new reports in. If we want to take a look at that so I can see what we are talking about here, because as you all see it, I'm seeing it as well. So you can see, yeah, those storms that were moving through the Dandridge area. You can just see how dark it is. Thank you, Laura Murphy, for sending this in to us today. If you are in a safe place and you have video of damage or photos of damage that you can send to us, please do, but please make sure you're in a safe place before you do that. So far, power outages looking okay in that area, but you can see just how dark it is as those clouds rolled through. We also got similar images like this in the Crossville area, and we had a couple weather balls on our Facebook group tell us that they actually were hearing the tornado warning sirens that were coming through. That was earlier this morning, not actively right now. So if you do, or if you are seeing something where you are, let us know. Heather, do you want to get back to that thunderstorm warning that you just, yeah, let's get back to Heather with that thunderstorm warning.
Okay, we do have a new severe warned storm. If we could come back to the Max computer, that would be great. Are you all able to get that in the back? So I'll go ahead and get you ready. Basically, this is what we're monitoring as we have had these storms continue to move east across our area. So that's where we have these new severe thunderstorm warnings being issued for the same storms, meaning the same storm continues to move east. So the latest in these severe warned storms would be this one right here. So that's what's continuing to move east into our area. It looks like we got a new report here, actually. Let's see here. Livingston area, Fentress County reports of trees down in the Wendell Community Road area. So that is in Fentress County, where we have a strong storm. So more damage reports continuing to come in as well. And then we have the latest severe thunderstorm warning for Bledsoe, Ray, and Roane counties, as well as Morgan County. So these continue to move east. So we have this strong storm, Jamestown, La Follette. This is our brand new severe warned storm coming out of Roane County into Knox County. You just got that notification with your WVLT First Alert weather app. Knox County into Blount County, Loudoun County. So this is that same storm we've been tracking for you here. I kept telling you it was headed towards Knoxville. So that's where they've extended that severe thunderstorm warning, meaning it's still maintaining its 60-mile-per-hour gusts and its 1-inch hail potential. That has really been the biggest triggers here too. Even looking at basically what I'm watching in our chat with the National Weather Service is what is being confirmed on the ground. And in this case, those damaging winds have definitely been the problem, with a lot of reports of trees down in Middle Tennessee. So that's why we have this ongoing severe thunderstorm warning as well. So the newest addition